A very brief video. I haven't made a video in a while, and it's like, I lost things, touch with things to talk about. But I just want to talk briefly about something. Money. This is a $2 bill, standard size. I don't have a $1 bill. For some reason, I got all this money, and I don't have a $1 bill. And I'm thinking to myself, this is the same size as a $1 bill. I just want to use this to illustrate a bit of a point of something. Something I didn't realize, until I started looking up some stuff about money. That, a long time ago, the bills were actually larger than this. They were physically bigger than this. Because this is all we know in the world. And I have one. I actually bought one. I got one. This is it. This is an old bill. And let me see what... I think this one is from 1923. It's a 1923 series, but I know that just because it says 1923 series, it doesn't mean that's the year it was actually printed. But up until 1929, I think, the government stopped making bills this big. The physical size of them. I'm not talking about the denomination. To show you the difference in the size, look at this. I could take this bill and hide it completely behind that bill. But look at it up front, right there, side-by-side comparison of the size of the bill. See how much bigger that bill is? It's wider and it's longer. These big bills, kind of got the nickname of horse blanket bills. This is what they call a horse blanket bill because it's so big. It's like a large bill, and the back of it is different from what we used to in the $1 bill. So it's kind of an interesting thing. It's an old bill. Then this is a silver certificate, by the way. It's not just a regular $1 bill. So it's a silver certificate. The government, of course, is not going to give me any silver for this. They stopped doing that a long time ago. But this is a silver certificate. In fact, I actually have a smaller silver certificate. One that's about the size of a regular dollar. Let me show you. Just 1 second. Okay. This is a I believe it's 1957 series bill. I had to put on my glasses to see because I could barely see anything without them. Let's see. This is a series 1957, yeah. This is a silver certificate. And this is a silver certificate. Let me just show you side-by-side comparison in size. The bigger, the larger size. So you can see how big it is. You put them side by side right there so you can see the difference in the size between the two. One is a lot larger than the other. Both of them are silver certificates. This is not a typical $1 bill. If you ever get one of these in the store or something, you might want to hang on to it. Because this design is a lot different. You see how it's designed different. And it doesn't have the Federal Reserve Bank thing on it. It has the Treasury stamp. The Federal Reserve thing is this thing. For the Federal Reserve Bank, that thing with the letter G on it. This means Chicago, of course. Is that right? Yeah, G and 7, number 7. That's the Chicago Federal Reserve Bank. This one doesn't have a number on it. So I don't know what Federal Reserve... Actually, the Federal Reserve banks did exist at that time. And I had to learn more. I mean, I have to tell you, there's a lot of ignorance I have about currency. I'm learning a lot of stuff. Because there are different names for different things. There's like Federal Reserve notes. And then there's national currency. There's something called national currency. In fact, let me get some of this stuff right here. I'll show you. This is a $2 bill. You notice there's a red seal on it. This is not a silver certificate. This is what is known as a, let me look at the name of it, United States note. Not a Federal Reserve note, but a United States note. Different because it says so right there. United States note. What all the differences are, I really don't know all those things. But there are differences. This is a more modern $2 bill. has the green Treasury seal on it. And you notice where the Federal Reserve stamp is, or the Federal Reserve thing is. There's the number 2 right there. And some wording that says, this note is legal tender at its face value for all debts, public and private. And this one says, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. Over time, they actually changed the wording of things. I have other bills, and I could go on and on about that. But I also want to show you something else. Just, this is a video I'm putting up. This is not one of those numismatic videos or a video about currency. It's just, I happen to buy these things. I get these things, so I just find them. And, here's something interesting. This is what they call fractional currency. This is the 5th issue, fractional currency. And the person on here, his name is Robert Walker, I believe. He was the treasurer at the time this bill was printed. This is actually 25 cents. It's not $25, it's 25 cents. This is what they call fractional currency. Just turning it all kind of ways. Fractional currency. This one was printed between 1874 and 1876, after the Civil War. But these things came into existence during the time of the Civil War because there wasn't enough coins to go around. People were hoarding coins because of the war, and they thought, well, the economy is probably going to collapse. So, there was a lot of fear. So people kept their coins because they knew it was silver, precious metal, and so they kept them, and there wasn't enough coins. And from what I understand, at one point people were using postage stamps for change, and then that led to a shortage of stamps. So then the government decided to create these things. This is an early one. This is one of the first issue types. What is called postage currency on the outside. You can see that. This is 10 cents. This is the real deal. And it's 10 cents. And it's actually smaller than the 5th issue. You see the difference in the size, just to compare it in size. And compare that to a standard size bill of today. You see the difference in the size. I just wanted to show these things real quick. Very interesting stuff. There's all kind of other things here which I could go on and on and on about. Oh, here's another, just briefly for 1 second, another silver certificate. This is a $5 silver certificate. And this is a $10 bill. This is a Federal Reserve note. It's an old Federal Reserve note. And the interesting thing is on the back of it, I could go on and on and on about these things, but on the back, they didn't put in God We Trust on that. They didn't do that until 1950. It had to be after 1957. They started putting it on there, or 1962 or something. I don't remember exactly. It was late 50s, early 60s. They started putting in God We Trust on the paper currency. Now, some people get confused. They say, well, they didn't start putting it on the money until 19 whatever. No, coins actually hit In God We Trust on it all the way back to 18. If I get my history correct, because I didn't just, I remember reading this stuff. It was 1864 when the first coin was made with In God We Trust on it. Not every coin had that on it, by the way. But most of them did. And then there's a lot of things, a lot of channels that talk about this stuff, because there was a time when the St. Gaudens $20 thing was made, and President Theodore Roosevelt, didn't want In God We Trust on it for completely different reasons that people don't want it on there now. He didn't want it because he thought it was like blasphemy to put God's name on money. So, there's that. just a little slight history lesson. You know, so you're probably better off doing some research on your own to get all the details straight, and then you can tell me all about it. Okay, that's all I have to say.